This is the Freego X2 Pro, and the first twist of the half throttle told me everything I needed to know about its personality. It's a rowdy, high-power electric dirt bike with pedals, and it absolutely launches. I rolled it out, checked the basics, and within a few minutes I was ripping down a side street with that mix of grin and whoa, this thing is serious. Key features that stood out to me right away. A 60-volt 30-amp-hour battery, that's 1800 watt-hour, a 3000-watt nominal motor that peaks at 6000 watts, claimed torque around 130 newton-meters, full suspension, and hydraulic brakes with four-piston calipers and 203mm rotors. If those numbers sound like marketing fluff, here's the simple version. Nominal versus peak power means the motor can run at 3000 watts all day, but it can surge up to 6000 watts for short bursts when you punch the throttle. Torque is the twist that gets you moving from a standstill and pulls you up hills. And big rotors with four pistons are what you want when a heavy e-moto starts moving fast and you need confident stopping power. From my experience, throttle response is super snappy. There's a slight lag right off zero, then it hits hard. In city mode, the bike caps out at 28 miles per hour and dials the output down, which makes neighborhood and bike path riding manageable. Flip to off-road mode, and it wakes up. I clocked 45 to 48 miles per hour on GPS on level ground, tucked with a fresh charge. The listing says up to 52 miles per hour. Maybe with the right conditions, lighter rider and a tailwind, sure. But for me, mid-40s to upper 40s is realistic. Either way, it's fast enough to demand motorcycle habits, gloves, full-face helmet, and real braking distance. The frame on my unit is the high-strength steel version. On paper, it adds durability without a ridiculous weight penalty. The spec says about 105 pounds, and it feels every bit of that when you're lifting it up a step. On the move, the weight isn't a problem. But you do notice the big rear hub motor when the terrain gets choppy. A hub like this adds unsprung weight to the rear wheel, so the suspension has to work harder to keep the tire glued to the ground over repeated hits. The front and rear shocks soak up potholes and washboards surprisingly well, and I'd call the ride plush and stable. I wouldn't take this off a jump line, but for dirt paths, fire roads, and rough city streets, it's a confidence booster. Brakes are a highlight. The four-piston setup bites smoothly and hard, and lever feel is predictable. Coming down a steep, stop sign hill at 35 miles per hour, I could trail brake into the intersection without fade. That matters on a bike that accelerates like this. The 19x2.0 knobby tires get decent grip on packed dirt and gravel, and they roll fine on pavement, but the 2.0 width is narrow for the weight and speed. On rougher surfaces, I kept eyeing wider rubber for more cushion and puncture resistance. The M5 display reads clean in daylight. Speed, battery percentage, trip, no nonsense. I couldn't change much beyond the basics, and on my unit there's no obvious brightness control, so at night it's brighter than I'd like. Pedal assist is there via a magnetic sensor, which means when the crank turns, the motor wakes up to help. It's not like a natural mid-drive bike, it's more of an on-off kick that helps you roll from a stop. The 7-speed drivetrain is useful to spin the legs and keep cadence at lower speeds, but let me be honest, this rides more like a small electric motorcycle with token pedals. I use the pedals to get moving quietly, to keep it legal in certain places, and as backup when I limped home once. If you're taller, pedaling feels awkward because of the geometry and seat-to-pedal relationship. The thicker, slightly lower seat is an improvement for comfort, though. I could sit for a 30-minute mixed ride without fidgeting. Charging and range are where expectations need to match reality. The battery is removable, which I like, but it's heavy. The fan-cooled charger does its job, and charge time is long. I plan overnight and don't expect quick top-offs. In my opinion, the claimed range is very optimistic if you ride it like it begs to be ridden. On rolling hills, off-road mode, 190-pound rider, mixed throttle, I got 12 to 18 miles before the voltage sag said be nice. Riding gentle in city mode, keeping it under 25 miles per hour, I stretched it to around 25 miles. The battery bar drops fast in the last third. Voltage is the more honest indicator. If you need consistent 30 to 40 mile rides at pace, you'll either have to baby the throttle or think about a second battery. Assembly was straightforward with the included toolkit, but I still did a full bolt check. That mattered. My rear rotor bolts and a caliper mount needed a snug, and the headset settled after the first ride. I had one flat early on from a tiny metal shard, so I swapped to thicker tubes and added sealant. I also trued the rear wheel after about 50 miles. The spokes bed in, and a quick check keeps it straight. None of this is scary if you're handy. If you're new, it's doable with patience and a couple of YouTube tutorials. But factor it in. Reliability has been a mixed bag for me. The core motor and controller have held up under hard sprints and hill climbs. The charger worked fine out of the box and still does. The display once glitched and stayed in MPH. A power cycle fixed it. I noticed surface rust starting on 2 small bolts after a wet day, so I hit the hardware with a protectant spray and made it part of my routine. Little things, but they add up if you don't stay on top of them. When I reached out through Amazon Messages with a setup question, I got a response after a few days. Not instant, not terrible. I prefer faster, but I got what I needed. Handling fits the look. At speed, the X2 Pro is planted and tracks straight. In tighter corners, you steer with your whole body more than with quick bar flicks. It likes a smooth, lean, and steady throttle. Low-speed balance is decent for a heavy bike, and the half-twist throttle makes it easy to modulate without cramping the wrist. The grips are tacky, and stay that way when your hands get sweaty. Lights are bright enough to be seen and to see at neighborhood speeds, though I'd add a stronger helmet light for fast night rides. It's perfect for riders who want motorcycle vibes without going full motorcycle, someone who craves torque, plans shorter, high-fun rides, and doesn't mind doing light maintenance. From my experience, the people who love this kind of machine are tinkerers and thrill seekers who appreciate raw power and can live with quirks. I'd recommend this for advanced riders or confident beginners with mechanical curiosity who understand what 6,000-watt peak actually means on a bike-sized frame. In my opinion, the Freego X2 Pro nails the adrenaline part and lands a solid B on the practical part. The power and braking are legit, the suspension is comfy for the intended use, and the dual modes make sense. The weight, range under heavy throttle, and the maintenance touches are the trade-offs. If your plan is daily long-range commuting, you'll be happier with a lighter mid-drive e-bike that sips power. If your plan is to carve fire roads, hop curbs, blast steep alleys, and smile every time you twist the throttle, this absolutely delivers. In conclusion, I like riding it, I respect it, and I plan around it. I tighten bolts, check spokes, keep the tires protected, and charge early. Treat it like a small moto, not a casual bicycle, and it rewards you with big grins and strong performance. Go in with clear expectations, gear up, and you'll have a blast. I'll leave the details about the Freego X2 Pro in the comments for you to check out. See you in the next video.